The stars outside looked like tiny white dots against the deep black of space. Inside the stargazer, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Captain J. Park sat in his big chair on the ship's bridge, watching the large screen in front of him. His fingers tapped slowly on the armrest, making a soft clicking sound. "Approaching Sector 7 Delta," said Mina, the ship's navigator. Her voice broke the silence. "Scanners are picking up some weird energy signals." Ja leaned forward. Weird energy signals were never a good sign in deep space. The Stargazer was a research vessel, not a military ship. They were supposed to explore and learn, not get into trouble. But trouble seemed to find them more often than not. Suddenly, a loud beeping filled the bridge. Red warning lights started to flash. "Captain," Mina's voice was sharp. "We've got a crash signal. Something just went down on the planet's surface." Jay's eyes narrowed. The planet below looked rocky and cold, with strange purple-gray mountains and wide, empty plains. Not the kind of place anything could survive for long. "Pull up the crash site details," he ordered. The main screen changed. A 3D map showed a smoking wreckage near a large rock formation. The crash site was recent, maybe just minutes old. Something had fallen hard and fast. Dr. Yuna Kim, the ship's xenobiologist, walked onto the bridge. She was always calm, always thinking. Her dark eyes studied the screen carefully. "We need to investigate," she said. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a statement. Jai knew her well enough to understand. Yuna didn't get excited easily. If she wanted to check out the crash, something was definitely interesting down there. "Prepare the landing shuttle," Jay told his team. "Full safety protocols. We don't know what we're walking into." The shuttle ride down was bumpy. Cold wind pushed against the small craft as it descended through thick clouds. Jay could see the crash site getting closer. Pieces of strange metal were scattered everywhere. Something had been destroyed here, and destroyed badly. When they landed, the team moved carefully. Broken pieces of a spacecraft crunched under their boots. The metal was unlike anything they had seen before. Strange colors that seemed to shift in the light. Materials that didn't look like they came from any known technology. "Over here," Yuna's voice called out. Jay turned. At first, he saw nothing. Then he noticed a small movement near a large piece of twisted metal. Something was alive. The creature was small, very small. It looked like a child, but definitely not human. Scales covered its body, beautiful scales that changed color like a living rainbow. Its eyes were huge and filled with terror. One of its legs was badly hurt, and it was shaking. When the creature saw the humans, it made a sound. Not a scream, not a cry. Something between a whimper and a strange, low hum that seemed to vibrate through the air. Dr. Kim slowly approached. "It's scared," she whispered to Ja. "But it's not trying to attack. It's protecting itself." The alien cub looked so small, so helpless. Its rainbow scales were dull now, almost gray with fear and pain. Its large eyes looked at the humans, not with anger, but with a deep, painful hope. In that moment, Captain Jai Park made a decision that would change everything. A decision that would turn this small, scared creature into something nobody could have ever expected. "We're taking it back to the ship," he said quietly. The medical bay of the Stargazer was quiet. Bright lights shone down on a small table where the alien cub lay. Dr. Yuna Kim worked carefully, her hands moving slowly and gently. The creature was so small, so fragile. "How is it?" Captain J. Park asked from the doorway. Yuna didn't look up. Her eyes were focused on the alien. Broken leg. Some internal injuries. But it's strong. Much stronger than it looks. The alien's scales changed colors as Yuna treated its wounds. First a soft blue, then a light green, then back to a dull gray. It wasn't moving much, but its big eyes watched everything. The ship's crew was divided. Some wanted to leave the alien behind. Some were scared. Some were curious. "We can't keep it," said Hyun, the ship's security officer. His voice was hard. It could be dangerous. Joe looked at the small creature. It didn't look dangerous. It looked lost. Scared. It needs our help, Una said simply. As if understanding, the alien made a soft sound. Not a word. Not a cry. Something in between. A sound that seemed to say, I'm alone. I'm scared. Jay walked closer. The alien didn't move away. Its large eyes watched him carefully. Una pulled out a small device. It looked like a thin metal stick with a blue light at the end. Universal translator, she explained to Ja. Might help us understand what it wants. When she touched the device near the alien, something strange happened. The creature's scales began to shimmer. The colors moved faster now. Blue, green, purple, yellow. Almost like a language. Interesting, Una whispered. The translator beeped. Then a soft voice came out, not from the alien's mouth, but from the device itself. Home, the voice said. Lost. Afraid. The entire medical bay went silent. Ja looked at Una. Una looked at Ja. The alien looked at both of them. We can't just throw it out, Una said. It's intelligent. It can communicate. Hyun crossed his arms. And what if it calls more of its kind? What if this is a trap? The alien's scales turned a deep blue, then a soft purple. The colors seemed to show emotion. Fear, sadness. Ori, the translator suddenly said. My name is Ori. Jay felt something strange in his chest. The alien had a name. It wasn't just a thing. It was a living being. We'll call you Ori, Jay said softly. More crew members came to look. Some were scared. Some were curious. Ori watched them all with those big, intelligent eyes. We need to decide what to do with it, Hyun said again. Jay knew the risks, knew the dangers, but looking at Ori, he saw something more, something special. We're keeping it, he said finally. For now. Ori's scales turned a bright, happy yellow, the first sign of hope since its terrible crash landing. The adventure was just beginning. 2 months had passed since Ori arrived on the Stargazer. The small alien was changing. Every day, it learned something new. Han Lee, the ship's engineer, was the first to notice how smart Ori really was. One morning, something broke in the engine room. A small but important computer part stopped working. Hyun was about to call for help when Ori appeared. The alien watched carefully. Its rainbow scales turned a deep thinking blue. Then, before Hyun could stop it, Ori reached out and touched the broken machine. Hey, Hyun said, don't touch that. But something amazing happened. The machine started working again, just like that. Hyun stared. Ori looked up with those big eyes. The alien's scales turned a proud green color. How did you do that? Hyun asked. Ori made a soft sound. The translator didn't catch everything, but Hyun understood one thing. Ori could fix things, really complicated things. Word spread quickly through the ship. The alien cub that everyone was afraid of was actually helpful. Really helpful. Dr. Una Kim watched Ori closely. She took notes, ran tests, tried to understand how the alien's brain worked. It's not just about fixing machines, she told Captain Jab one day. Ori understands them, like they're alive, like they have feelings. Jay watched Ori play with some tools in the engine room. Hyun was teaching the alien how different machines worked. They looked like friends. Tell me more, Jay said. Una's eyes were excited. Ori's brain works differently. It can sense how machines work, feel their problems. It's like the machine and Ori are talking to each other. Some crew members were still scared, but most were curious now. Ori was becoming part of the ship's family. During mealtimes, Ori sat with the crew. The alien didn't eat human food. Instead, it had special liquid that Una had made. But Ori loved being around people, watching, learning. One day, a big problem happened. The ship's main computer started acting strange. Lights flickered. Systems went on and off. "We're losing control," Minna, the navigator, shouted. Everyone panicked, except Ori. The alien walked to the main computer room. Its scales turned a deep, serious blue. Ori put one hand on the big computer screen. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the ship's systems started working again. Perfect. Like nothing was ever wrong. Captain J watched in surprise. "How did you do that?" he asked Ori. The alien's scales turned a happy yellow. The translator made a soft sound. "Helped," it said simply. Hyun laughed. "Our little miracle worker," he said. Ori didn't understand the words, but it understood the feeling. Happiness. Belonging. At night, when most of the crew slept, Ori would sit by the big windows, looking at the stars, thinking about its old home, but also feeling happy about its new home. The stargazer flew through space, and Ori was no longer just a passenger. Ori was part of the crew now. A small alien cub, saving a spaceship. Who would have believed it? The research lab was quiet. Dr. Yuna Kim stood in front of a big computer screen. Numbers and strange graphs filled the display. But her eyes were looking at something else. Something small. Something special. Ori sat on a high stool, playing with pieces of metal and computer parts. Its rainbow scales moved slowly, changing from blue to green to purple. Always thinking. Always learning. "Captain," Yuma called into her communication device. "You need to see this." Minutes later, Captain J. Park walked into the lab. He looked tired. Space exploration was never easy, but something in Yuna's voice made him pay attention. "Watch," she said. Ori picked up two different pieces of technology. They looked like they didn't belong together. One was an old shield generator. The other was a new communication device. The alien cub's scales turned a deep thinking blue. Its small hands moved carefully. Slowly. Suddenly, the two devices connected. Not just connected. They worked together in a way nobody had ever seen before. "How is that possible?" Jai asked. Yuna was writing notes quickly. "Ori isn't just fixing things. Ori is improving them. Creating something totally new." The shield generator now worked differently. It could block energy signals that nobody thought could be blocked. The communication device could send messages faster and clearer than ever before. Han Lee, the ship's engineer, walked in. He looked at the devices. His mouth opened in surprise. "This is impossible," he said. But it wasn't impossible. It was real. News spread quickly through the stargazer. The alien cub that everyone was afraid of was now creating new technology. Technology that could change everything. "We're seeing something special," Yuna told Ja later. "Ori's brain works differently. It can understand technology in a way we can never understand." Outside the ship, space looked dark and dangerous. Humans were not alone out there. Other civilizations existed. Some were friendly. Some were not. The Crimson Collective was one of the dangerous ones. A group of alien races that wanted to control everything. They were always looking for new weapons, new ways to fight. "The technology Ori is creating," Jay said slowly, "could protect human colonies." Yuna nodded. "But we have to be careful. If the wrong people find out about Ori's abilities, they might want to use the alien as a weapon." Ori didn't understand these big talks. The alien was happy, playing, learning. In the lab, Ori created more things. A better energy shield, a faster communication system, things that could change how humans traveled in space. At night, when everyone slept, Ori would sit by the big windows, looking at the stars, thinking about home, but also thinking about its new home. The little alien cub was growing up, and it was becoming something special. Nobody knew what would happen next, but everyone felt something big was coming. The universe was about to change, and Ori would be part of that change. The communication room was dark. Red lights blinked slowly. Captain J. Park read the message again and again. "This is bad," he said quietly. Mina, the ship's navigator, looked worried. How bad? Jay turned the screen so she could see. The Crimson Collective is moving closer to human colonies. They're looking for something. Or someone. Ori sat in the corner of the room. The alien scales turned a deep, worried gray. Something was wrong. Ori could feel it. Dr. Yuma Kim walked in. She carried a stack of papers. But these weren't normal papers. They were special maps. Space maps showing where different alien groups were moving. They're searching, Yuna said, looking for something from Ori's homeworld. Ori listened. The translator tried to catch every word, but many things were still confusing. The Crimson Collective was not nice. They were a group of alien races that wanted to control everything. They took planets. They stopped civilizations. They were always looking for new weapons. They know something survived, Jay said. Something from the last big space war. Heinley, the ship's engineer, brought up more information on the big screen. Pictures of destroyed planets, broken spaceships, old battle sites. Ori's people, Han said slowly, were used as some kind of special weapon. Ori's scales changed quickly. Blue, gray, purple. The colors showed fear, confusion, sadness. The translator made a soft sound. Home, it said. Lost. Everyone in the room went quiet. Yuna knelt down next to Ori. We won't let them hurt you, she said softly. More messages came. More bad news. The Crimson Collective was moving closer to human space. They wanted something. And they thought Ori might be the key to finding it. We need a plan, Jay said. The ship's computer showed moving dots. Red dots for the Crimson Collective. Blue dots for human colonies. The red dots were getting closer. Ori watched the screen. The alien's small hands touched the computer. Suddenly, the dots moved differently. The red dots slowed down. How did you do that? Han asked. Ori's scales turned a bright green. Helped, the translator said. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Crimson Collective would not give up easily. At night, Ori sat by the big window, looking at the stars, thinking about the home it lost, thinking about the new home it was trying to protect. The universe was big, dangerous, full of secrets. And Ori was right in the middle of everything. Something big was coming. Everyone could feel it. The little alien cub that was once feared was now becoming something more. A protector. A hope. The stars outside looked quiet. But they were not peaceful. Not anymore. The alarm was loud. Too loud. Red lights flashed everywhere on the stargazer. Colony under attack. Minna shouted from the navigation station. Captain J. Park looked at the big screen. Crimson Collective ships surrounded a small human colony. Thousands of people were in danger. The colony had no strong defense. Ori sat quietly in the corner. The alien scales changed colors quickly. Blue, red, gray, moving like a living rainbow. We have to help, Hyunbli said. His voice was hard. Dr. Yuna Kim checked the computer screens. The situation looked bad. Really bad. The Crimson Collective ships were huge. Metal monsters with big guns. They fired energy blasts that could destroy entire buildings. The human colony's shields were failing. We can't fight them, Minna said. We're just one ship. But Ori was different now. No longer the small, scared creature that first arrived. This Ori was something more. The alien walked to the main computer. Its small hands touched the screen. Suddenly, something strange happened. The first Crimson Collective ship stopped moving. Its big guns went quiet. What's happening? Jai asked. Yuna watched carefully. Ori is doing something to their systems, she said. Another ship stopped, then another. The powerful Crimson Collective fleet was becoming useless. Ori's scales turned a bright, powerful green. The translator made a soft sound. Protect, it said. The alien wasn't destroying the ships, just stopping them, making their weapons useless. Their engines died. Their communication systems went silent. Hyun remembered something. A story about Ori's people. They were never meant to be weapons. They were meant to stop weapons. "Look!" Minna shouted. On the big screen, the Crimson Collective ships drifted in space. Completely stopped. No more attack. The human colony was safe. "How did you do that?" Jai asked Ori. The alien scales turned a soft blue. "Helped," the translator said simply. But everyone knew it was more than just helping. Ori had done something impossible. Stopped a powerful fleet, without firing a single shot. Yuna checked the computer readings. "Ori didn't destroy anything," she said. "Just made the ships unable to fight." Hyun looked at the alien. The small creature that was once feared was now a protector. "You saved them," he said softly. Ori didn't understand all the words, but understood the feeling. Safety. Protection. The Stargazer's crew looked at each other. Something had changed. The little alien cub was no longer just a passenger. No longer just a strange creature they had rescued. Ori was a hero. Outside, space looked quiet. The Crimson Collective ships drifted like sleeping giants. A new kind of power had just been shown. Not destruction. Understanding. The alarm was loud. Red lights flashed everywhere on the Stargazer. Captain Jai Park looked serious. More serious than anyone had ever seen him. "We have a problem," he told the crew. A human colony was in danger. The Crimson Collective had found it. Thousands of people were at risk. The colony had no strong defense. Hyunli stood next to Ori. The alien scales were moving fast. Blue, red, gray, changing colors like a living rainbow. "I will go," Ori said. Everyone looked surprised. Ori had never offered to do something so dangerous before. Dr. Yuna Kim checked the maps. The colony was far away. The risk was big, too big. "It's suicide," Hyun said. "We can't send you." But Ori was different now. No longer the small, scared creature that crashed on their ship. This Ori was brave, smart, powerful. Hyun remembered something. A story from his past. His sister had died in a space attack years ago. The Crimson Collective had destroyed her colony. He had never talked about it before. "Why do you want to go?" Hyun asked Ori. The alien scales turned a soft blue. "Protect," the translator said. "Help humans." Captain Jay understood something important. Ori was not just trying to save people. Ori was trying to save its new family. "The mission is too dangerous," Jay said slowly. But Ori was already preparing. The alien touched different machines, made them work in ways nobody understood, created special shields, special communication systems. Yuna watched closely. "Ori is changing the technology," she whispered to Ja, "making it stronger, safer." The colony was under attack. Ships from the Crimson Collective were getting closer. They would destroy everything. Ori stood in the special mission room. Small, but not afraid anymore. "I can help," Ori said. Hyun looked at the alien, remembered his sister, thought about all the people who would die if nothing was done. "Okay," he said finally. The mission was simple, but also very complicated. Ori would go to the colony, use its special abilities, try to stop the attack. Nobody knew if Ori would come back. "If something happens," Ori said, "protect the humans." Jay touched Ori's shoulder, a human way of saying be careful. The small spaceship was ready, designed by Ori, stronger than any other ship, with special shields, special everything. Ori looked at the crew, at the people who saved its life. "My family," Ori said. The translator made the words sound soft, but everyone understood. Outside, space was dark, dangerous, full of ships waiting to attack. Ori was going to change everything. The little alien cub was no longer little, no longer afraid. A protector was born. The communication screen was fuzzy. Static moved across it like angry waves. Everyone on the Stargazer held their breath. Incoming transmission, Minna said. Captain J. Park leaned forward. Dr. Yuna Kim stood close. Hyun Lee gripped the edge of the control panel so hard his fingers turned white. Ori's mission was happening far away. Too far to see, too far to help. The screen cleared. Something was happening. The Crimson Collective's big battleships looked like metal monsters. They surrounded the human colony. Thousands of people were in danger. No hope left. Then something strange happened. Ori's small ship appeared, so tiny compared to the big battleships, like a mouse walking into a room full of hungry cats. The alien ship moved differently. Not like a normal spaceship. It seemed to dance between the big enemy ships, sliding, moving, avoiding every attack. What is it doing? Hyun asked. Yuna watched carefully. Not fighting, she said. Something else. Ori was doing something with technology. The battleships started to slow down. Their big guns stopped working. Their engines went quiet. But Ori wasn't destroying the ships, just stopping them. The translator picked up strange signals. Not words. Something else. A kind of energy that moved between the ships. Communication, the translator said softly. The Crimson Collective ships stopped moving. Completely stopped. On the communication screen, something amazing happened. The enemy ships started talking. Not shooting. Talking. Ori had found a way to make enemies listen. To make them understand. Impossible, Jad whispered. But it was happening. The human colony was safe. The Crimson Collective ships were not attacking. They were talking. Hours passed. The stargazer waited. Watched. Finally, a message came through. Negotiation complete. The message said. Yuna looked at the star map. The Crimson Collective ships were moving away. Peacefully. How? Hyun asked. Ori's message was simple. Helped, the translator said. But everyone knew it was more than that. Ori had done something nobody thought was possible. Stopped a war without fighting. The little alien cub that was once feared had become something more. A peacemaker. A protector. Ori had used something special. Not weapons. Not force. But understanding. When Ori's ship returned to the stargazer, the alien looked tired. But happy. Home, Ori said. Meaning the ship. Meaning the crew. Hyun picked up Ori. The alien was small. But now everyone knew. Size didn't matter. Something big had changed in the universe. And it all started with a small alien cub that nobody wanted. The stars outside looked different now. Quieter. Calmer. Hope had won. 1 year had passed since Ori stopped the war. Things were different now. The big meeting hall was full. People from many different planets sat together. Humans, alien races, everyone who used to be enemies. Captain J. Park stood at the front. Next to him was Ori, the small alien that changed everything. We are here because of one being, Jay said into the big microphone. A being that was once feared, now respected. Ori's scales moved slowly. Blue, green, yellow, showing different feelings. Dr. Yuna Kim watched from the side. She had studied Ori for years now. Knew more about the alien than anyone else. Hyun Lee stood next to her. He remembered the day they found Ori. A small, scared creature in a broken spaceship. Now look at it. Representatives from the Crimson Collective were there too. They used to be enemies. Now they were talking. Listening. Ori showed us something important. One alien representative said, "Communication is better than fighting." The room was quiet. Everyone listened. Ori stepped forward. The translator made its words clear. "We are different," Ori said, "but we can understand each other." Some people had tears in their eyes. Others looked surprised. Nobody expected an alien to speak like this. Yuna remembered all the tests, all the studies. Ori was special. More than just an alien. More than just a survivor. A bridge between worlds. Outside the meeting hall, ships from different planets waited. Ships that used to fight each other. Now they worked together. Ori's technology had changed everything. Better shields, better communication systems, ways to talk that nobody had thought of before. "What will you do now?" Jai asked Ori. The alien scales turned a bright, happy green. "Help," Ori said. "Protect." Hyun smiled. The alien that was once the most feared creature was now the most loved. More stories came out about how Ori saved other colonies, how Ori helped different races understand each other, how a small alien cub became a hero. The meeting ended, but something had changed. In space, ships moved differently now. They talked more, fought less. Ori stood by the big window of the stargazer, looking at the stars, thinking about the long journey. From a scared little creature to a galactic peacemaker. The universe was big, dangerous, full of mysteries. But now, it was a little less scary. Hope had won. And it all started with a small alien cub that nobody wanted. The stars outside looked bright, peaceful. A new future had begun.